The Hayato Rebellion was a rebellion of the Hayato people of southern Kyushu against the state of Japan. After a year and a half of fighting, the Hayato were defeated, and the Japanese court established its rule over southern Kyushu. Background: in the latter half of the 7th century, the Yamato court's influence extended to southern Kyushu, but the scattered Kumazo and Hayato populations held their ground. The court was attempting to introduce its own Ritsuyo system throughout its sphere of influence, but the populations of southern Kyushu resisted. This was because Ritsuyo was based on rice cultivation, to which the volcanic soil of southern Kyushu was unsuited. On the other hand, the court was also expanding its intercourse with mainland China through the Ryukyu Islands. It organized an investigative expedition called the Bekkokushi to survey southern Kyushu and the Ryukyu Islands. But in 700 the Bekkokushi were threatened by the local inhabitants in various parts of southern Kyushu. The court gathered weapons in Dazaifu, and in 702 dispatched troops to southern Kyushu. At the same time, they established the future Satsuma province there and strengthened the local governmental structure. In 713, Osumi province was established, and 5,000 inhabitants of Buzan province, where Ritsuyo had already been implemented, were sent to live there and guide the further adoption of Ritsuyo. Tensions rose as the court continued to press Ritsuyo, and especially the hanran system, on the Hayato population, who practiced communal land use. Rebellion. Early in the year 720, the imperial court received notice from Dazaifu that Hyako no Fuhitomaro, the governor of Osumi province, had been killed. Within a week, the court appointed Otomo no Tabata as great general to subdue the Hayato, with Kasa no Mamuro and Koze no Mahito as his vice-generals, and sent them to war. The Hayato side gathered several thousand troops and holed up in 7 castles. In response, the court gathered over 10,000 troops from the various regions of Kyushu and divided them into a two-pronged attack, advancing from the east and the west. 3 months after the attack was launched, they reported the defeat of 5 of the castles. However, they met with unexpected difficulty at the remaining 2 fortresses, Tsunoiwaki and Himanoki. The war drew on, and after another 2 months, Otomo returned to the capital, leaving his vice-generals in charge. After almost a year and a half of fighting, the war ended in the Hayato's defeat. In mid-721, the vice-generals returned to the capital with Hayato prisoners of war. Between those killed and taken prisoner, the Shoku Nihongi records Hayato casualties totaling 1,400 people. Due to the rebellion, the enforcement of hanran was postponed. It was finally implemented in 800, almost 80 years after the war.